Hey everybody, Radaman here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, episode 27. So, a little recap of what's going on. Turtle Sandwich was the first person to point out that my liquid locks here were failing, that they were causing a bit of a gas leak, I guess is what you could call it. So, what I'm going to do is high priority close this off. So that I can repair the problem, and then I'll let the geyser go again. But yeah, this is kind of an annoying problem for sure. Alright, so now the hydrogen has nowhere to go, so it will stop, and I'm going to start mopping up the old liquid lock. And I'm going to redesign it for the slightly longer to pass through, but slightly better protected oil lock like we have here. So that will be redesigned. What else? So, other suggestions. Louis mentioned that the eggs were because the eggs in here are hatching inside the bin and causing raw eggs to spill out. Yeah, I'm fine with that, I guess. Aiden mentioned one other tip which I rather like, which is that to keep my steam generating room nice and isolated, heat-wise, I am going to need to... create two airlocks here, or liquid locks, so that the heat can't transfer through both, and then create vacuum in between them. So that's what I intend to do. That's a very good suggestion. Alrighty. And I think that brings me to all of the suggestions I've had so far. Yes. Oh, one other. Power mentioned that if I add ceiling lights above my shearing stations, I'll shear a little bit more quickly. Now, there's not really a good place to put all these shearing lights because of how low my ceiling is, and I'm not sure that this light will cover this shearing station, but it's worth a try. So now that I have this broken down, what I'm going to need to do here is to redesign this so that it's a proper liquid lock, like that, but that's going to be too low, so I'm going to have to lower that a bit, which means deconstruct. There we go. That's what it's going to end up looking like. And I will build the same thing on the other side. And then fill those with oil, and they won't continue to be a problem, which will be nice. I also am going to break down this power cable. And in lieu of that power cable, I'm going to put in two transformers. So one here and one here, with heavy watt plates, heavy watt wires. And this is going to become a 2K line rather than a 1K line. It's my first 2K line. Alright, let's get this built first and promptly. And yeah, it's going to look like that, which cuts the travel here to be behind and around our refinery, which is not great, but that's just the way it's going to be. So here, over here, this construction project is going to be an 8. That will stay 5, and then this will be a 7. Look at all of them. Damn. Did you just... No, you didn't strand yourselves. Alright, so that is nice and built. Then, bottle emptiers on either side for oil. And we'll start constructing the alternative path to get around. Of course, I could also... I could also put a path here as well, so that we can go around this way. Alright. So this hydrogen vent is going to eventually get overpressurized. And there's a teeny bit of oxygen in there, which is unfortunate, leaked in due to the destruction of the airlocks. But we can clean that up once it goes dormant. Okay, this is going to cause a big old leak, but that's fine. And yeah, we'll just wait for this project to be done. Our wrenches themselves aren't at much of a risk for overheating, but with that said, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to put in some additional Weezeworts. And I'm going to put them in the center here where the hydrogen first comes up. Alright, so priority back to 8. Let's get this done. And then, once that's done, we are going to need to mop up some oil. So I'm going to dig this path here in hopes that this oil is low enough to mop, and I do believe it is. Yep. It says too much liquid, but that will spill. So we'll get some oil to put into the liquid locks. There we go. We're starting to get an alternative path around. So this will be reachable pretty soon. So in here, I'm going to build a temporary gas pump. And once we have the oil lock set up, I'm just going to vacuum this out so there's no more oxygen that can be accidentally introduced into the hydrogen tunnels, or whatever you want to call them. And then the power cable here, let's go... I'm not going to plug it in yet, but eventually it's going to run... like this. But I won't actually fully plug it in until my liquid locks are built. So here, we are going to want crude, copy, and paste on the other side. Yeah, and the leak has started. That's fine. It's just leaking into the same puddle that we had built before. So if we need crude oil to fill those liquid locks, it's going to be important to set this as high priority digging so that we can access some crude to fill into the locks. And then once these are built, the other problem is these Weezeworts here are, they're not fertilized right now, but then even when they become fertilized, they're going to be over pressure. They're going to be too high temperature to function properly. So that's another problem of sorts. Okay, the hydrogen looks good. Our oxygen is nice and backed up, which is fine. I suppose what I could do is I could eventually create a rail line to deliver eggs to one specific storage bin next to my kitchen. I can mark that down as a nice to have much later on down the line. There's other things that are far more important to me right now. So I just got down the hatch, which is that my smooths processed 10 tons of material, of refined metal, which is pretty cool. So the thing is, with the conveyor lines, pretty much everything that comes off this conveyor line now, let's go to shipping. Phosphorite is either going to be phosphorite if it's coming from the Drecos, or eggs if they're coming from the hatches. So all of everything coming through this line here is going to be an egg. I think is a safe bet. Yeah. So I could very, very, very easily fix this conveyor line to deliver eggs, but it is going to require a auto sweeper to put it into a bin, which is fine. It also means that this marble sculpture's definitely going to get broken. Oh, we have new printables. Digging building, but you fart. Well, that's too bad. I guess dirt. I don't need anything else. I'm being picky about my dupes. Well, if I could put a storage bin... Actually, I could do it like this. Where's my auto sweeper? And then conveyor chute. Yeah, that'll work. Wire it up. And that will generate raw eggs. Raw hatch, smoother stone hatch eggs automatically from the storage bin. And then the other rail line, I would just need to... This rail line here, I'd probably need to filter for the eggs itself, because the mealwood is going to put off phosphorite, mealwood seeds, mealwood itself if it ever becomes fully matured. So the net result is it's easier to filter for the eggs than the other things that could be coming off here. So I'll eventually hook up the Dreco ranches to auto egg as well, but it takes just a little bit more effort. Speaking of which, let's get another glossy incubated. We just finished incubating something. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't know. If I see a critter around, I'll know what it is. I think it was a smooth, right? And we have 7 smooths, so I think we already got it delivered. I could be wrong. So these here are getting crude oil into those locks. And perfect. We had dug all this up, so let's go mop this crude and deliver it to our liquid locks. And then I have another project I want to work on, which is going to be a oil refinery project. So I'm going to put the oil refinery down, just so that I can space this out. I actually might even push it one more over. So the oil refinery is going to produce a good bit of heat, and it will damage itself. If I make it out of gold, it will withstand a little bit more heat, but we don't have steel yet. So I'll put my oil refinery here, and then here will be the liquid lock. Let's push this over one. Okay, that's enough space. Actually, you know what? Even further. Okay, so this is the space at which we are going to utilize for the oil refinery. So I'll get that built and set up. And let's go plant some more mushrooms for our dwindling food supply. It's not bad. It's not even a... It doesn't even have me worried. It's just we'll want it eventually. Alright, so how's the crude coming from down below? We mopped a whole bunch of it, and now we're just delivering it to the liquid locks. Perfect. Okay, that's a whole lot of crude that dupe just picked up, which is great. And that should get us... our liquid locks should be set back up so that we can run this again. Okay, I guess it wasn't as much crude as I thought. It's not full. Alright, we'll just keep delivering it until it fills up. And I might have to do some clever digging, because it looks like we're just about out of crude that is free to be... So I'm going to dig this tunnel next. And what this is going to do is it's going to serve to fill this volume up, lowering the level of the oil and allowing us to dig. Oh, you are stuck, my man. There you are. Get on out of there. Okay, so we'll get the dig errand going in a second. So for the crude oil, for the refinery, let me explain how this works. It takes in crude oil in the liquid intake pipe, and on output, it outputs petroleum, and then around it, it will outgas natural gas. So we're also going to, not only are we going to need to add petroleum storage to our current base, we're also going to need to add natural gas storage to the base. Now I know I had a geyser of natural gas that I wanted to utilize way up here, so once I have the refinery set up to store natural gas, I will also try to tap that geyser. Because natural gas is going to be a pretty reliable power source for us, just like hydrogen is. And it's really good to, you know, sort of create multiple, you know, multiple sort of power sources. You don't want a mono source of power, because if it fails or if you run out or whatever, you're done for. All right, so let's wire this up separate. Looks like a lot of these conductive wires are getting delivered. Good, good, good. Another thing I could do, just given the amount of time I spend going down to the oil biome, is crank out some plastic ladders. Most of the way there. I don't want to go all the way down because I don't want them to melt. But we can go down to this level of chlorine. Pretty safe. So these are still need quite a lot of delivered oil to become locks themselves. And this dig did not have the intended effect. I'll try to dig this way. It's abyssalite, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to dig that way, but I don't really see an alternative. I guess I could dig... I could dig up that way too. So that would give me some. Let's prioritize this dig over the others. There we go. Alright, so let's see. This here is going to be critter eggs. And I'll finish this construction project because it's cool. Also because the conveyors are backing up, I'm guessing. Because I don't have it built. So as far as natural gas storage goes, I'm going to start the storage here. But eventually I'm going to add some more storage elsewhere. Or just expand storage. But this will be the initial storage that I've got set up. And then for the petroleum, I'm probably... I will set up some storages here as well. This gold amalgam? Yeah, that's fine. So there's oil and petroleum stored in these liquid reservoirs. Alright, now we hit this. Let's do some mopping. High priority mopping so we can get the liquid locks back. Because it's been too long. Yeah, invalid because it just doesn't have floors, but we're getting there. Alright, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. So this will be plenty of oil for my liquid locks. We just need to now deliver it. Oh, Dennis, I'm sure you are freaking out. His stress is going to be climbing, having done that. But it is a service. It's a service that we needed. All right. So taking a look, this here is going to be my oil. That's not going to work. So let's run a pipe down, and I'm not going to build the pump until we're ready to store it, because the pump is going to be slowly destroyed by the heat of the oil because I don't have access to steel yet. So I'm only going to build the pump last. This also means that I'm going to need to run power. Ooh, it looks like power got run pretty far already. Good. Alright, come on, liquid locks. Fill up. And then we'll fill these liquid locks as well. How's this? Oh, this is unreachable because we haven't dug there. Yep, that makes sense. New printables. Slickster. Building. I want like a build, dig, or build supply combo. So Slickster it is, and this Slickster is going to get the axe. Hey, little guy, I see you. You don't belong out here. Alright, so now the storage bin has eggs. And what I'm going to do is manually ditch the eggs out of here. Oh, you're just placing it in a different bin. I see, said the blind man, peeing in the wind. Let's have all the eggs ditched out. And then a high priority sweep to put these eggs in the bin next to the kitchen. So that this will be an omelet supply station. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of eggs in here hatching. Sorry, Slick. You are now barbecue. Alright. my oil locks. Yep, this one is almost full up. That's good. Power. Conductive wires will get plugged in. And this will be set to 7 now. Alright, so this liquid lock is almost full. It doesn't need to hit the 1,000 that a regular liquid lock needs to, because oil is has a different, you know, density. Or different volume by weight. So this should be enough. Oh yeah, that's going to be enough. Okay. And then put this to like priority 1, just so it continues pumping. Done. Now this one, and once that's done, we'll evacuate all of the oxygen here. And I do believe, yeah, there's a little pocket of oxygen down there, but like, I'm not gonna fret that until the hydrogen vent goes dormant in 10 cycles. Ooh, that was a path. Let's allow for slightly smarter pathing here. There. That'll be a little bit easier to go around. Oops. So we're waiting on a whole lot of oil being delivered for the liquid locks. But then once that gets delivered, we can start, again, return to working on steel. I know I keep pushing back this steel, but I'm pushing it back for various reasons, because other things are coming up and they become priorities against the production of steel. Because at the end of the day, steel is really only necessary and needed when you're going to space, and I'm not really going to space just yet, right? We're a little bit away from that. Now let's get some new Weezeworts to deal with this excess heat. And of course, as you see here, the heat is spilling out because this hydrogen is just pooling. It's not causing any problems yet. But it will in due time, if ignored. Okay, so this looks completed. So now it's going to be this one, which means that we need to dig this now as a high priority. But there's our lock. Oh, and I guess it can start pulling the gas out of the lock because our power transformers are done. So we'll vacuum seal this lock, and then once this lock is vacuum sealed, we can crack into the hydrogen and reroute this pressure vent to go to our hydrogen tanks. Alright, so we're delivering oil over there, and then let's have another bottle empty here. Oops, that was not how to do that. And sweep up the slime, please. There is not slime lung. Yeah, there's a little bit of slime lung here. Just a little bit. Kill that off. Let's see. You're probably not needed. So I'll grab it from down there. Or up here, I should say. There's a free buddy bud. We'll put that there once it's built. It's not urgent. All right, so then the last thing we need to do is to fill these. And then we'll need to vacuum out all this oxygen. As I think I mentioned that... how's hydrogen get? Oh, hydrogen's being pulled from up there. Okay, taking a look at the gases here. It's all the correct gas now. Yeah, there is no oxygen anywhere except for down there. Okay, so then this gets broken down, and then this pipe, this gets broken down, and then this pipe runs this way instead. So let's get that as a really, really high priority. I really want to start tapping the hydrogen again. Nice. We got some raw egg delivery already working. Glorious. Alright, rerouting the hydrogen line. This has enough hydrogen in it, and I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so now we just need to break it down there. Construction 9. And then we should be all set. Yeah, actually, I'm going to make this insulated tiles. And then we'll put a ladder here. So, construction 9s again. And this is all set to go. Power that back on. And now we're feeding hydrogen to the hydrogen tanks. There's the possibility of a tiny bit of oxygen getting in, but it's not enough for me to care to filter it, because it's such an immaterial amount of oxygen that could spill in. It's just not a threat or worry or anything. Ooh, these weeps are actually alive. I kind of low-key didn't expect that. Alright, so now we have hydrogen refilling our hydrogen tanks. This thing will go into dormancy pretty soon. But that can't be helped. Okay, and then the liquid locks are getting underway. So that means I'm going to want gas pumps. Here and here. With conductive wire running to them. I'm going to make this out of iron. Or lead, rather, because it doesn't really matter what it is. And then these are going to just dump. I need to vacuum seal this area. Which means I ought to put a switch in. I'll put the switch here. It's just easier to access. Okay. So the reason I mentioned this before, but the reason I need to do this is when you have steam in your steam chamber, if you have a layer of oxygen at the top of it, it will disable the steam turbines. So it's really important to pull out all of the oxygen in your steam room. You do not want any steam, or it will cripple your steam generators. Which I think I can happily say is not good. If you're trying to build a steam generator and you break it and cripple it, yeah, it's probably not what you intended to do. What's the entire temperature of the base? It is... there's pockets of heat, especially around these smooth hatches, because they're being, I think, fed hot iron ore, being dug up from hot biomes. But I wouldn't mark that down as a problem necessarily. All right, so we have room for one more glossy and a few more stone hatches, actually. But I think my coal supply, my coal supply is pretty healthy because we're barely using coal jennies. So I'm not gonna fret about that. So I have a few projects going on now. I've got the skeleton of where my refinery will go, where I will store oil and natural gas and petroleum, but I don't have that set up yet, and it's going to be a little while until that does get set up. Just by the very nature of it's a lot of construction, and over here I'm more focusing on this project, where we are going to vacuum out our steam chamber. That's a bit higher priority for me than anything else. New printables. Dr. Ranching, more coal, suit wearing, okay, yep. And then a builder that refuses to dig. That is the very opposite of what I want. Alright, so these should not have any eggs now. They do not. Good. I could also do the solid filter for the eggs here. So that our eggs... Yeah, and I'll do that. Alright, so one easy way to do that is to move this rail over here and kill the rail here. So all these rails will feed to the same area. Oh, actually kill the rail here, sorry. Oops, and they already broke it. And then add solid filters here and next to it. So essentially the rails will go... All the rails will feed here, and then if regular Drecklet or glossy Drecklet eggs, we will pull them out a different way. And then this rail will then return back to the storage bins. So given the interruptions that this causes to our cleanup, I'm going to have it be a bit of a high priority. And then also plug it in. So then what this does is these rails here will carry the eggs to the egg storage. So let's get this done. This will be the last project that I'll probably finish up this episode. Pretty manageable as long as we deliver the gold. So this here will be Draco eggs. And then the second will be glossy Drac. All right. This oil still, yep, too hot. Will damage my pumps. That's fine. At least we have some reservoirs. I'm going to save myself a little bit of power and turn this off until it pressurizes again. Still haven't gotten that oxygen, though. And I realized that there's no way to get down here as long as these Weezeworts are blocking the path. It's not something I'm necessarily going to fret for now. But I could fix... Yeah, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. It's a pretty easy fix. Alright, so they're starting to build the conveyor rails. It's a little ugly that the conveyor rails are exposed and not inside of tiles or whatever, but, oh well. I think is a proper way of expressing my concern. Oh well. I don't care. Alright, so there's the conveyor rails. One Who Is Many is the only one that's going to be able to build those, because he is our only, like, mechatronics guy. So that's why it's a slow project to work on. But everyone else has their own projects. Alright, Alright, so here's the rebuild here, and we're going to do ladders like this. And break these down. And move the Weezeworts over to the side so that we can climb down if we so choose. Alright, that looks good. One who's many. Looks like you're doing quite a fine job. And of course, these conveyor loaders do have a certain amount of capacity, so at least the auto sweepers will be cleaning until these conveyor loaders fill up. So it's not like it's getting backed up or whatever just yet. There's a little bit of time for us to, a little bit of wiggle time that we have. Okay, we really haven't been delivering oil. Is that because all that we mopped up? Yeah, it kind of looks like that. All that we had mopped up is now used elsewhere. That's okay. We'll find a new puddle. Look at all this diamond. Because we could get down to this puddle and mop that up as well. Yep, that there will do. Let's do digging 6. Get to there. Ooh, water is filling up. Starvation. It's just because you haven't broken for food yet. We have plenty of food available. In fact, our mushroom supply is going up. So, this wasn't properly filtered. So some eggs are going to go to the wrong spot. As you can see, some of these conveyors are a little confused. But now I believe this is set up right so that now that it's fully built, there will be some eggs dumped here that we don't want, to be fair. But I have finished the process so that our eggs should be delivered to the right spot now. So maybe... Oh yeah, here, perfect. Here's a glossy egg going to the conveyor chute. Plop, and insert. Great. So that's all set up. So now, yeah, all the eggs are going to be delivered to... they're going to be delivered properly to the kitchen so we don't have to haul them. Little quality of life improvement, I suppose. Okay, down here, continue those ladders, and then put in the Weezeworts. Let's put this as a construct 7. And now the Weezeworts are going to block our path to get down here, and we'll be able to mop the oil. And actually, the first liquid lock is almost done. I suppose I'll grab this iron while I'm in this, and then I'll eventually dig down and get the rest of the diamond. The diamond's going to be really good for temp shift plates in the future. Alright, so now we are ready for Weezeworts again. To cool down this superheated hydrogen. And let's start pulling the hydrogen out. It's not pressurized all that much, but we'll pull it out anyway. Alright, so there it is. Chilly breath, and chilly breath good. Alright, how is this? Oh, good, Angelia. We're getting excavated. And that will hit this crude oil, which will allow us to fill up the remainder of our liquid locks, I think. Or at least this one. And then we'll have another liquid lock over here. So that it's, and vacuum this out. So that it's a vacuum to prevent the heat from escaping from the steam chamber outwards. Very, very important. Alright, so here's the oil that I wanted to mop. It created a perfect little puddle for us. Exactly how I wanted to do. And we'll start mopping it up and delivering that to liquid locks to finish them off. Alright, let's do a quick temperature check. Very, very temperate in the ranches. Icy, ice cold here in my hydrogen for the cooling down the steam turbines. This will heat up a lot once steam is starting to run, though. What alert was that? That had me concerned. All right. Copy settings, paste settings, and put this to 8. All right, taking a look. 7, 6. That's looking good. Hydrogen still being made. We still have plenty of room for hydrogen, so I'm going to just keep the electrolyzers going. How's our water level? It's dropping a little bit because, you know, we're turning into oxygen and hydrogen, but it's not dropping fast enough for me to worry. And, of course, we have a ton of other polluted sources, but other sources of water if we need. Okay, so we're starting to get that plastic ladder in. That's cool. And the plastic ladder will go down to about here where it's temperate. Any lower and it risks melting into naphtha. So I could risk a little bit lower, but I'm not going to. It's not important enough. Oh, is this? No, okay. It looked like petroleum because of the lead behind it, but it's actually still oil. So these liquid locks are being filled up. And new printables. Building, tidying, cooking. That's okay. Building, digging, tidying. With a mouth breather. Ooh, Gene. No, I'm going to pass. I know what you're probably thinking is, oh my god, what a good one. But he's also a night owl. So I'd have to have him on an entirely different schedule, and I'm lazy and I don't want to do that. Treforza, let's max out your ranching. I know this episode's running a little long. I just really wanted to finish these liquid locks before the end of the episode. So I'm just going to do that. So this is dormant in 4 cycles, 4 days, in other words. These liquid locks. The second one is just about full. That crude oil is probably, oh yeah, most definitely going to put it over the top. There it is. And that means that I can start vacuuming up the steam room. The future steam room. Nice. That's a good landmark to hit. And now this oil here won't evaporate, and I'm not going to have a accidental breach or anything like that, which is phenomenal. I just was not too keen on those breaches. And this automatic egg storage. Yes, I could get more calories if I let these hatch and turn them into meat. But I'm actually okay with eating eggs. What is flooding? My deodorizer? Oh, whatever. Care not. I care not. But I am going to dig to it and destroy it because it will warn me forever that I have a flooded deodorizer until I fix it. But yeah, we're starting to work on the refinery room, which is good. All right, guys. One last liquid lock. That's all I ask, and then I'll let you all rest for 2 days. So yeah, it does take a little bit longer to get through here, but it's not... Other than the phosphorite being added to these wheezeworts, which will be... Actually makes me think I'm going to set this up a little bit differently. I might actually have some phosphorite storage in here to reduce the time it takes to fertilize these, because these wheezeworts are pretty much here to stay until I use an anti-entropy nullifier. If I ever do, I might just leave wheezeworts in there forever. But that does mean that, given the high density of wheezeworts here, it would be good if I stored phosphorite there to just make it easier to keep it fertilized. All right, how's this water? Clean and good to go. Okay, we are very, very close to the last liquid lock. Are you carrying oil? No, you're not. So here we will have agriculture phosphorite as a 6. Where's my other phosphorite being stored? Oh, well, I don't care about that. Okay, it's being stored. I'm being trolled. It's being stored a little bit everywhere. Okay, whatever. I think 6 will be enough for us to start pulling phosphorite here. And I could always convey it later on. Just a teeny little bit more oil required. And it looks like the refinery room is really coming together. And, of course, we'll need an oil lock here in the refinery room to prevent the natural gas from escaping. Oh, oil, you do so much more than power up a base or refine a plastic. I'm using it everywhere. Alright, that might be the last of the oil required, depending on how much was just delivered. Nope. One more delivery should be all set. So I have this as insulated tile because it will be generating considerable heat. The refinery, that is. Really? For real? That's unreachable? There. That should be fine. I can stop this confusion here by breaking down these rails. It doesn't really matter if it gets all weird and confused. If an inanimate object even can be confused. Because eventually it makes it through the path. Alright, I think that's a little bit better. It's already pathing better. Swell. What's fun is the gold amalgam breaking down those rails were just auto-swept. I didn't even need to do that myself. Alright, the lock here is done. So we'll turn this off for liquid. And that about wraps up this slightly longer than average episode. What did we do? So we replaced our polluted water and regular water liquid locks with oil, which took a little bit of effort. We built a considerable amount of the steam chamber. It's not quite done, but it is getting there. We filtered out eggs and delivered all the eggs to the kitchen. And, yeah, we started to build a refinery so we can store natural gas, we can store oil, we can store petroleum, and started to run a pipe all the way down to the oil so that we can start pumping it. So a lot happened, and next episode we're likely to start pumping that oil and refining it into petroleum and natural gas. Once we start to build up a supply of natural gas, it would be good for me to get to the natural gas geyser and tap that for natural gas as well, so that we can diversify our power sources. I I also want to vacuum seal up the steam chamber and then start prepping it for the metal refinery. The metal refinery itself will probably be done in probably more than one episode, if I was to guess. And then once we have the steel from the metal refinery, that's going to allow me to utilize space. It's going to allow me to build into space, which will be really, really cool. If you have any feedback for me, do drop me a line in the comments below. Thank you for all your tips and feedback. It's very, very helpful because I'm not an expert at this game. So thank you for all the ones that support feedback this episode, which would be Turtle, Luis, Aiden, and Power. I'll catch you all next episode. Adios, guys.